Yo, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Most Low Budget Movie Reviews. I am your host, Clarence. Thank you for tuning in. First of all, I want to apologize for last weekend. I didn't get any content up. As I like to say, life happens. I did have several movies that I watched, and I just didn't get a chance to sit down and record anything. But I will rectify that this week. You're going to get multiple episodes this week, including whatever new is coming out that I decide to watch. I think there's something new in the theaters that's coming out that I wanted to see. But anyway, I need to look at the schedule and find out. But in today's episode, I have a movie that was trending on Netflix a couple of weeks ago, and my father actually told me to check this one out. This is one he saw before me, so I'm going to check this out since he suggested it. He told me there's quite a few twists and turns in this one, and that it would be something for me to figure out. And you guys know I love these kinds of mystery thriller type things with lots of twists for me to dive into. So what is this one about? Well, we start out with this young boy riding his bike through the woods when suddenly he's knocked down. Spoiler free, won't get into that. Then we get these shots and we go to the home where things are pretty tense between a mother and a son over breakfast. Again, spoiler free, but the mother has done something that puts the family at odds. Now, her husband is a police detective and he catches this case of the missing boy. Now, things are kind of cranked up a notch because either this person's a copycat of the kidnapper from years ago, or they put the wrong guy in jail. Meanwhile, strange things are happening in the house. Pictures are missing, TV turning on and off by itself. But that's where I'm going to have to stop, because from there, the detective continues to investigate this missing child case. He's got to deal with this drama surrounding his family, and he's got to figure out what's the deal with the stuff going on in the house. So what did the pros think? Well, they came in at a very solid 75%, with the audience in agreement for the most part at 73%. And what did I think? Well, let me start out with the positives. First thing I want to acknowledge is the attention paid to the overall tone and setting. They did a lot of interesting camera shots and edits, and it scored pretty good with the way, they put the music back there. All of it added to this really eerie vibe that kind of made you feel uncomfortable for watching it. It does a great job of keeping you off balance. I mean, is this something supernatural or is this something else? Did they actually arrest the wrong guy years ago, or is this guy just some copycat, copying his work? And with the limited amount of clues, will they find this boy in time? It sounds like a lot, and it is, and we didn't even get into the family drama stuff. Now, you're tracking all of these things at the same time and trying to piece together, what's going on and make sense of all of it. And I have to tell you, my father was right, there are several twists in this one. Some of them I expected and figured out early on, but there's a couple of them were completely out of left field and I didn't expect, and they did get me a couple of times. I actually figured out, big chunks of it, but I didn't understand the whole story and how all this stuff was connected. Until the very end, they do this final reveal, which I didn't figure out. Everything was, just pretty clever, and it literally kept you guessing all the way up to the very end. And it's pretty smart and consistent for the most part. I like the way they show all the way up basically until almost the third act of the movie, and then we jump all the way back to the first act and we see it from a different angle, which, again, spoiler free, that's a bit of a clue, but, I'm not spoiling anything for you here if you're not following what's going on. But I do have a few negatives I need to get to. Now, the pacing of this one was a bit slow at times. There are some scenes that kind of drug on and some things they showed that I was like, we can move on past that. There's this one element that I can't get into that they showed way too much of. The reveal was great, but then we kept having to watch it play out. And I felt like once we got the point of what was going on, they should have just moved on past that. It's not a slow burn per se, but it can feel that way at times. And even though, like I said, it is smart in the way they put everything together, it's pretty clever, there are some more glaring holes and obvious missteps along the way that I can't get into, but I don't want to beat this one up too much. Did I enjoy it? And yes, I did enjoy this one. I would put this right at a 78% on the Rotten scale, so I pretty much agree with everyone else. The story of a kidnapped child and who did it, it does play out in very typical fashion. Well, not play out in typical fashion, but the solution is very typical for this type of movie. But the way it was executed, that's the beauty of this one. The execution and how we get there. So the journey along the way was really good. With that hint of supernatural, and then they reveal all the players, it was just well done. And like all the performances were solid, I thought. And so I can overlook the little small missteps that they had there along the way. So definitely check this one out if you're into mysteries or thrillers or that kind of thing. This one definitely will not disappoint. With that being said, I'm going to close it out right here. If this is your first time, don't make it your last. This has been a Podbean production, mostly low-budget movie reviews with Clarence. I am up on all streaming platforms, so definitely go and check me out. There are several movies coming out this month in the theaters that I want to check out. Starting this weekend, like I said, I'm pretty sure it's this weekend. And then next weekend for sure. And you guys know what next weekend is. If you're a horror fan, you know what next weekend is. But anyway, thank you again. I will definitely put out more content this week to kind of make up for last weekend. So you're probably going to get like 4, maybe at least 3. Maybe 4 podcasts this week. We'll see how things play out. As I like to say, life happens. But again, thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate the support, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.